They Say What They Can't Radio.
Hey guys, how are you? My name is Judy Amanda and welcome to my podcast. Let's start the conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have a great topic. It's the end of the month, but it's still Pride Month, so we're celebrating Pride Month with a topic called Pride to Be Me. I'm so excited because there's so much. I'm so excited because there's so much to talk about. I have my two guests here. I have Nathan to the right and I have Jarrell to the left. Do you guys want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Okay.
Go for it.
I'm Nathan, originally from Bronx, New York. I'm a Scorpio, and that's really it because I don't really know what else to say when they ask questions like that.
I was an Aries. You just like being in school. You got to say a little bit about yourself. Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, so I'm from the Bronx, New York. I've been living here for about all my life, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm actually moving to LA in September.
Nice.
So yeah, I just came on the show to talk about everything related to Pride.
Nice.
A few questions for me, so.
Yeah. How about you, Jarrell? How are you? Thank you for being here today.
What's up? I'm Jarrell. Live in New York City. Met Julie through college. Work in production.
Educated and motivated. I should have had that one. Go ahead.
That's about it.
That's it?
That's it.
What's your sign, Jarrell? Since we know Nathan is a Scorpio, what's your sign?
Leo.
Leo. Ooh, Scorpio, Leo, Aries. Those is power signs.
Yeah, dangerous.
Aries, right? Yeah, we don't. We plays no games. Just in case you was wondering. So listen, it's Pride Month. Are you guys excited? What do you have planned? What do you have planned?
What do we normally do? I just go out to parties.
Like, what does that mean for you? Pride Month. What does it mean to you?
Well, Pride Month. I don't know. I don't really get as excited about it because I've been like out for a very, very long time. So Pride Month to me is just like a regular month.
Right.
But in terms of like what we talk about in society, I think Pride Month is just happiness, being able to be free, love, just a whole bunch of adjectives that just describe just like passion and being just free and being happy. So yeah.
I like that. That actually sounds great. What about you, Jarrell?
I have no plans, actually. This is my first, I don't know. I never celebrated Pride.
This your first what?
I never celebrated Pride.
Really? Why? No reason? Why? Use your words. Why you not? I don't understand.
No, we just usually get like a weekend.
Is it? Is it
Well,
usually?
because I think it's World Pride, so they're doing like all of the if you can see like outside and stuff. Like if you go into the city, they have like all the banners and all the stuff. I guess like they're doing like the big World Pride tours and everything.
Is it because it's the 50th anniversary?
Yeah, so it's like the 50th anniversary. So, well, we said when we get a weekend, it's usually we get like the parade. Like on
Did the
next
parade
week.
pass?
No, it's always on the last Sunday.
Oh, so we right on
week.
time. So it'll be tomorrow.
No, next week.
Nice. That's dope. That's dope. So what do you guys got planned? So you guys going to the parade?
I haven't been to the parade since I was 15. So
Really?
yeah, I work that Saturday and then Sunday we probably do brunch and go to a little party. I'm sure there'll be some people in town, so we'll just kick it with them. But I won't be doing nothing really, really big.
Oh, but you said since you were 15. How long was it that when you first came out as a gay man, black man?
I don't like to say come out. It sounds like I'm just...
Well, come out. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, I guess I like to say letting you into my truth.
All right, listen, I'll take it anyway because honestly, this is all... I'm one of those people that need to be educated on it, and I must admit that. There's some people walking around that think they know what it is to be gay, what it is to be trans, what it is to be a lesbian.
Right.
And to me, I feel like those people are fronting.
Right.
Because I'm a well-educated person and I'm very well-rounded, but there's a lot of things I feel like I need to learn as well. Because sometimes even for me, I feel uncomfortable saying certain things.
Yeah.
But that's only because it's the lack of knowledge, the lack of education when it comes to that topic.
Right.
So please bear with me, guys.
No, it's fine.
Like if I say some funny ish, y'all can check me. It's all good. I'm willing to get checked today
this
because I'm
is
learning.
a learning environment, so we're all good. We're good.
Yes, definitely. But no, I feel you. Like you're inviting people into your space, so coming out is kind of like corny. I agree with that. What about you? You agree with that?
Yeah.
Coming out. How long has it been for you?
All my life.
All your life?
I knew all my life.
You knew all your life, but did you come out? Like, have you been out?
Yeah, but it wasn't until probably college.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. I mean, do you feel like, what's the biggest misconception you feel like people have about like gay men? Because, you know, sometimes you guys can get categorized. Don't you agree?
So there's a lot of misconceptions. So, but I think it's difficult because there's misconceptions in different communities. So,
Give me an example.
specifically, like we live in the intersection of being black and gay. So,
Right.
And I'm also male. So those are three different things. So being a black gay man there's different there's like different things that we are categorized opposed to like white gay men.
Right.
So we have to deal with, I guess, categorization from our community, which are black people, and then we have to deal with, I guess, categorizations from the gay community. So those things.
The LGBTQ community?
Well, just like white.
Oh, just
So
white. White people.
Yeah. So when we talk about like when we talk about gay and being queer and all those things, we technically associate that with whiteness. So it's specifically being a black person.
Right.
So that's where.
So is it harder, like, for black people?
It is.
It is. Yeah.
It is. So do you guys feel like the discrimination when you go to like restaurants and parties? Like, do they give you the eye like, they here? No, you know how sometimes you go somewhere, they be like,
I mean, I've taken myself out of it objectively. I'm sure there is discrimination,
Right.
but I'm a different kind of person, so those things don't really matter to me. But and I can conduct myself a certain way where I don't think that I would notice a discrimination, but there's always discrimination. So you're gonna get discrimination for being a black person.
Right.
You're gonna get discriminated for being gay. But I think for me, I get discriminated more so. It depends on what neighborhood I'm in. So if I'm in
what do you mean? What neighborhood you in? Like,
I'm
you
in
get
Brooklyn. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in the hood.
Hold on a second. You get neighborhood discrimination?
Well, it's not neighborhood. It's the like. Okay, so
I mean, I know I'm saying it
yeah.
very corny, but you know, my brain needs to dissect this. Like, so basically, depending on where you go,
Yeah.
depends on how you get treated.
Yeah, so
That's
you have to
crazy.
break it up into two. Remember that we're black and we're also gay.
Right.
So for me, I never felt discrimination as a gay man. I felt more discrimination more so as a black person with white people. I felt more discriminated as a gay person with black people.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
But either way, it's discrimination.
Yeah,
on both
well,
ends.
yeah, either or. So
You too? That is crazy. I mean, discrimination, period, is hard to deal with. Even just being black, living in society. You know, there's a lot of things that we deal with. The young men, we got to worry about our kids going to school. We got to worry about. And nowadays, like the amount of things that I've seen on social media, it's not even about the guys anymore. I think it's just about everybody, us black, just being black as a culture. The whole genre is like being affected.
Right.
You know, as a mom, I'm always afraid for my kids to go somewhere. I always tell them the goal is to make it back home
Right.
at the end of the day, because you watch all these videos on social media and it's like, dang, what the heck is going on?
That's really interesting that you say that, because I'm more worried about my brothers than I am about me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm always worried. My brothers are a little younger than me, so one is 24 and the other one is 20.
Okay.
So I'm always more worried about them because like they are like black.
Right.
Like, so when I mean black, when I mean black, because we are African. Like, I'm a first generation African.
Okay,
so my parents are from Ghana.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Ghana.
so my brothers both, one of them has dreads, the other one has his hair out. So it's like they don't look, I guess, presentable to white communities.
Right.
So I'm always worried about them. Yeah.
That's rough. Dang. So what about your parents? Like, did you ever have a conversation with your parents about your sexuality?
So
I mean, you know.
What's interesting about that is I always battled with having a conversation because I only told my mother. Everybody else in my family knows. Right. Me and my grandmother are very close, but I never had a conversation with her because she's very religious and
Ghana.
Yeah, and I currently live with her right now. So
who, grandma?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's really religious and she sees things a certain way. And my mom, when I had a conversation with her, it wasn't more so of a conversation. It was more so, this is what it is.
Right. Take
some time to really deal with it. I'm moving on.
Right.
So that was what the conversation was for me. Me and my father are not close. He's in my life. He's
Right.
present. Like, he lives with me and my grandmother. So
Okay.
but we're not close. We don't speak. We don't.
Really? Why?
A whole bunch of stuff.
Oh,
We just have like we have a lot of issues.
Right.
So
you never had any type of conversations with him, but you said your family
yeah.
knows.
They know, yeah.
So you think he knows?
Of course he knows. He's talked about it.
Oh.
Yeah. My entire upbringing with him was always trying to derail me from that like quote unquote lifestyle. So yeah. But I've never spoken to him about it because I don't have a relationship. For me, we don't have a relationship, and I think that is my journey and my experience.
Right.
So I don't feel like I should share that with him because we're not close.
I mean, do you plan on fixing the relationship with your dad one day? I mean, here's your dad.
Well, I'm in therapy, so we'll see.
Oh, that's good. I'm
see.
actually happy to hear that.
Yeah, so we'll see. So we'll see. It's a question mark there, so I don't know.
I mean, listen, time.
Because I told you I'm a Scorpio, we hold grudges.
So
we'll see.
Dude, that's what y'all do. I thought it was something else.
No,
But anyway, because I got a little couple of Scorpio friends now, and I ain't worried about the hold no grudges, but I know the other things. Hey, Scorpio. What about you? Like, were you able to have conversations with any family members?
My cousins, close cousins, we've had conversation. My parents, my dad, he's real cool about it. He's mentioned he's said some comments, but he's like really just laid back. My mom, she's very religious, so it's more, she calls it an alternative lifestyle. So
She calls it what?
an alternative lifestyle.
She said an alternative lifestyle. Well, what does that mean? What does she mean by that?
Well, we know what
She
that
feels
means.
like it's something that you're not. She feels like it's something you pick, you decide.
Is it?
No.
Is it?
No.
So how I describe it is, it's not something that you choose to be. It's something that you choose to express and be happy living in. So you get to live in your truth. Like I know so many men who are in my community, specifically being African, and they are still, I don't like the term DL, but they are just very low.
They haven't gotten to that.
Yeah, they
point
haven't
yet.
gotten to. It's a very hard part because not only do they have to deal with being black, they also have to deal with being African, and there's a specific tradition that Africans like
Live by.
So it's very difficult.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough and unfortunate at the same time. So now, as far as like family and friends, I know you say you spoke to your cousin, not too much with your parents, but do you guys have the support from family and friends, but mostly friends? Like, how are your friends reacting to?
I think now it's good. I have a lot of support. Growing up, I didn't have any support. That's because I didn't say anything growing up. It was a lot I dealt with growing up in school. I always was fighting.
You were always fighting what, to like defend yourself?
Defend myself. I had to stand up for myself because people thought because you were different that you were a punk. So I always had to.
So you have to
I
lay
had
that
older
flat.
cousins that taught me how to fight. So it was always me defending myself to prove that I was.
Now, were any of those fights in regards to your sexuality? Like them just being, kids just being mean, saying things? 'Cause kids can be mean.
Sometimes. And when you're growing up and you have people telling you who you are and you don't really know who you are at the time. Elementary school, junior high school,
Right.
You got people calling you gay or a faggot, and you don't know who you are. It's kind of hurtful as a kid. You don't know how to express yourself. You don't want to go to your parents because it's kind of they don't talk about that in the black community.
Right. Now, how do you start a conversation like that? I mean, we're having a conversation on Let's Start the Conversation podcast. And actually, I created this space because I felt that there are a lot of conversations that are not happening in the black community that needs to be addressed. And unfortunately, people feel like they're the only ones going through it. It's crazy. So, I mean, just listening to you guys talk and, listening about the discrimination and the different things that you went through in school, it sounds like stuff that everybody goes through, but like I said earlier, there's a lot of, I feel, information that needs to be had. And unfortunately, I find that in the black community, they don't want to address it or even mention it or even talk about it, and honestly, I spoke to some people about this topic and it made them uncomfortable. And for me, it's like when I hear holiday or something being celebrated, I get excited because regardless of what it is, I feel like you just always supposed to celebrate something, you know? And the fact that you guys have, they're like Pride Month, I'm like, oh shoot, here we go now. That's fun to me. Like, it's not about, oh, he's black or, oh, you know, he's gay or, oh, he does this or he, like, what does that mean? Like, I just feel like we tend to categorize people for the dumbest things. And I feel like in the black community it's the toughest because I guess maybe from our upbringing, you see how you said like your brothers are like real black. They have dreadlocks, they have this like, and you said it black as if the way that other people would view them, like it wouldn't be accepted to white people or certain situations. You guys go to clubs and it's like, you know, like I just find it to be so weird. But in reality, it's the same thing that we deal with every day as being just black people, period.
Right.
You know?
Well, we have to understand that generally black people are traditionally conservative. So outside of civil rights, we don't really care about anything opposed that is about equality for anybody else. So that's how I look at it. So if we want to talk about gay people and queer people being accepted into the community, first we have to look at us as human beings and not people that we are ostracizing out of the community. Right. So we can't be other. Right. We have to be included in the black community. Because when we talk about being gay, we never talk about black gay people. We always talk about gay people as if they're only white. Right. That's so true. Now, I know that they're starting a thing called a new movement called Black Pride. I actually was watching an interview with Ebro from Hot 97. He was doing an interview with Chance the Rapper's brother. I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. But he actually did an interview, and it was very concerning to him, but it was very interesting to me that, you know, that being black and gay is like really a big thing. Like you're getting discriminated in the LGBTQ community as a whole. Right. Like that's crazy. Like you're already dealing with the discrimination of people not accepting what gay really is, or people who, you know, come out the closet or invite you into their space, whatever it is. But then in addition to that, you have to deal with the same people that's being discriminated with you, discriminating against you. Yeah. Like, how do you fix that? Well, it's all privilege, to be honest. So everybody's privileged over somebody. So when we just talk about gay people, we're not just only talking about gay people, we're talking about lesbians, bisexuals, trans people, queer people, and etc. So all those different people will all, you know, have privilege over other people. Like we can say that gay people have privilege over trans people. Right. Because people are starting to understand that trans people are here and they've always been here, but you know, we're starting to see that they're around and you're seeing them more and more as if it's something that's new, but trans people have always been here. Trans people have always been the motivators and the initiators of our movement. So do you guys feel like things are getting better, or are they getting worse as far as like the discrimination? Because that's crazy to me that so let me get this straight. Is there levels to this? Levels in terms of what? Levels in terms of gender in the community itself. Like, okay, so if you're a part of community and you're white, if you're gay and you're white, you're here. If you're gay and you're black, you're here. But if you're trans, you're here. But you're white. But then if you're trans and you're black, you're here. Like, it seems like nothing is really equal as long as you're black. It's more like white queer people and then everybody else. Oh, and so the white is separate. You break them all out into their different subgroups. Oh, so wow. So you would do race, and then you would do gender, and then it will flourish from there. And like they really move like that? Like, yeah, that's really much how it is. Yeah. Wow, that's very interesting to me. Like, I never knew that. I don't understand. That's like crazy to me. Like, how come we can't get into the club, but then we finally get in, and now you don't want to chill with me? Like, hold on a second. Well, if you still have to just take the gay element out of it. It's still like being normal out in America. Right, but the fact that gay people are already suffering and dealing with their own discrimination as a whole, we're still trying to get whatever you would call regular people, you know, like your neighbor, to accept who you are. So if we're still trying to get the quote unquote regular people to identify and understand, this is who I am, this is not an alternative lifestyle,
you know. So once I get through my neighbor, now I gotta get through all these other. That's crazy.
Right. But that's just how it is.
So what about these kids? What about the kids? What about these kids that are in high school, that are in junior high school, elementary school, that are suffering with trying to figure out who they are, struggling with their identity, but even more so, they don't have the courage to.
I feel like they have it worse.
You feel like it's worse?
Growing up, we didn't have social media. It wasn't as advanced as it is now. So, we had computers, but we didn't have IG and Snapchat and Facebook. Facebook, didn't come around till we were in college. So I feel like they have it worse. It's, to be bullied at school, but then to still go home and it's now online, you still have to deal with it. There's no end to it for them. So.
And it's like so many kids are like taking their lives, suicide, right? What about I've been hearing on the news recently, a lot of trans men, a lot of trans people. How do you speak about them? What are they called? Trans people?
So they're trans people. So
they're trans people, okay.
Trans men and then trans women.
So it's trans people, but if I'm talking about a specific person, I would say trans man.
If you're talking about female to male, that's trans
Okay,
man.
so female to male
is trans man.
Is trans man.
And then vice versa is trans woman.
So male to woman.
It's trans man. Trans woman.
Oh, okay. So depending on what you transitioned into, that's what you identify as, but you still put trans in front.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna get this.
I mess it up still.
Do you? I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this.
See, to Jarrell's point, a lot of gay people still don't understand that. You know what I mean?
See, for me, I just need to hear it. Like I heard it, it makes sense, but I've never heard it before. So, like I said, that's.
And that's interesting because trans people have always been here.
Right.
They've always been
right.
You probably know a lot of trans people. You just won't know they're just not clockable. And
right, but how do you guys feel about the situation, the incident that happened the other day with the young lady that was the trans woman that was in jail and got murdered, and the police department, like everyone's saying, like they don't know what happened. Just you don't really have to go into details about it, but just more or less like that can happen to anybody. That can happen to anybody.
Well, first we need to have a conversation about who's killing trans people.
Yikes.
Specifically, trans people of color. So when we talk about black trans women dying, who is killing them? And once we have that serious conversation and we talk about who is killing them, then we can move forward.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these women are dying at the hands of black heterosexual men.
It's so unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate. I think that it's 2019 and we're still living in a day where, unfortunately, people like me are still not educated on the subject.
Right.
And it is a subject, it is a topic, and it should be a conversation. Because the bottom line is, I don't feel like it's going anywhere. Like, I don't feel like, oh, they're going to disappear tomorrow, so we don't have to talk about it. Like, this is happening. This is now. More and more people are inviting you into their space and letting you know this is who I am. You know, for me, I've never thought about it, but I'm not a racist, so it doesn't bother me. But I like to be educated on certain things, especially if it's change, especially if there's an issue behind it, especially if it's happening. It's happening.
Right.
Listen, you guys got a month. I want to know, like, yo, what's up? They got a month when we celebrate, and I'm all for it.
Right.
But that's my excitement. What about the people that aren't me?
Right.
You know, what about the people that are discriminating? What about the people, you know, who are talking mess about the parade? Like, you know, it's just unfortunate. But like I said, back to the kids, or not even the children, just back to how about you guys leave some inspiration for that young boy or that young girl who is struggling to invite people into their space due to whether it's because of social media, whether it's because of their parents, just the fear of it all. Because me on the outside looking in, as a woman, a heterosexual woman, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I don't know if I would want to say anything to anybody. This is who I am. You either talk to me or you don't.
Right.
But what do you say to the ones that are listening, the ones that are watching, who need some sort of inspiration to get the courage to come out and just live within their truth, basically? What do you say?
I feel like you have to do it when you're ready, on your own terms. Because if you let people pressure you, then you're gonna, I don't know, I just feel like you have to do it on your own terms when you're comfortable. And some people are never comfortable with coming out because of always being judged. I would just say if you're not going to come out to anyone, just continue to be who you are. People are either going to they love you or they're not.
Right. That's some good advice.
It builds tough skin. It does build tough skin.
Nowadays, you need it. Thank you, Jarrell.
It's a little bit difficult for me to specifically say something that I would tell a younger person, because I always think about this all the time. What would I tell a younger person? Because I always feel like my situation was always very objective and different. But I would just tell a younger person to just look in the mirror and just look at themselves, like completely and utterly and just fully, and just accept every different part of themselves. Now, once you do the work within yourself, that's when you'll be able to move on and talk to people about that. And I don't suggest people come out. I think I was telling you before, I don't like the word coming out, because I feel like you owe the world something when you're I guess you're coming out. I just like to say to people that I'm letting you into my truth. I'm letting you into my space. I feel like coming out isn't for the people that you are telling, it is for you. So if you feel like you want to share that journey with somebody, you should. But if you don't have to. And coming out is not a necessity. And you don't have to subscribe to any label. You don't have to do anything that anybody wants you to do. And telling people, for me, I can't tell someone to be themselves until they're comfortable with who they are and finding and being able to find who they are. So I think the first step is just analyzing who you are, figuring it out, getting happy and being comfortable with that person before you move into a situation where you want to discuss who you are with other people. And that's not even just for people young kids that are gay, and that's just anybody. Because as a person that's in high school was the hardest time for me.
Who you telling?
After that, it was breezy, but those first 2 years, they were ridiculous. You know what I mean? Because I was still trying to figure out stuff. Not personally. In terms of like me, but I was trying to figure out like, am I ready to start dating? Am I like, can I, is my mother gonna be okay with this? With me, when I was younger, my safety was always the thing that I was always worried about. I wasn't worried about anything else because I was already comfortable with who I was. But it was just about like my safety. So when we talk about coming out, we have to make sure that these kids, are they comfortable? Like, do they feel safe? Do they feel guarded? Do they have any mentors? Do they have anyone that loves them at this moment? So I just tell these young kids, just surround yourself with love and positivity and figure out who you are first.
I know you mentioned mentors. Do you feel like there needs to be more?
Absolutely. I feel like, especially with black gay men, because I feel like there are a lot of black young boys that are coming up, and we have to deal with different things. We have to deal with the fact that we are black men, and we also have to deal with the fact that we are gay men. And I think that when a lot of us black gay men, when we get older, we disappear out of our community and we leave and we don't come back and we don't share the knowledge that we've learned. You know what I mean? Because we're working out our own traumas, and then we're also working out the traumas that we get while being in this community. So there's just conversations that I think that we as people who have been in the community need to come back and share with kids, because I think that will help.
I agree.
And it will provide love, because I think love is the best way for us.
Love, honey. That's what it all boils down to at the end of the day. Everybody needs that love, that hug, that kiss, just knowing that someone's there to share this tough, cold world with. Ooh, child. I just want to thank you both for being on the show. Oh my gosh, it's Pride Month. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No, I'm very excited because I think I'm going to go to the parade this year. I want to talk to some more people.
Fun. It's really,
want to
really fun.
like, I want to get the feel. I don't want to feel like the outcast, No, I want to really be in it so that I could talk about it with confidence.
Pride is fun. And
yeah.
One thing about the community, we embrace anybody who loves us. So come in, come out, come have a good time.
Thank you so much to both of you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. But before we go, I do want to give a shout out to all my wonderful sponsors. So I do have Tay Workouts. Tay Workouts is a player development and fitness organization owned and operated by Coach Tay. So I want to shout them out. You can follow him on their Instagram at Tay Workouts. I also want to give a shout out to GBC, my guys over at GBC Boutique in Flatbush on East 34th Street in Brooklyn. They are open 7 days a week, and they start selling you some hot men clothes. You guys should check them out. Dope. At 12 noon every day. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to my girl, Simone, who is the CEO of Don't Forget Me, the Francis Canty Foundation. This is a nonprofit organization which motivates and encourages young women who get pregnant and need support and love, like Nathan mentioned earlier. Also, I want to give a shout out to Matherin Caterers. Chef Gene, he's not here right now, but he made some wonderful food for us, which was delicious. You can follow us on Instagram at Matherin Caterers. Every dish is garnished with love, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, Motivating Collections, designed and created by Paris Bianca. She has a collection where she does custom jackets. She has t-shirts and sweaters to uplift and inspire a generation from within. And you can follow her on Instagram at Motivating Collections. Thank you guys so much. Pride Month, yay. I appreciate you guys. We're still celebrating the launch of my podcast. Thank you to everybody who's been a part of it. It's been an amazing experience. Thank you. I finally get to talk. But I people telling me to be quiet because I got something to say. You heard Ice Cube. I got something to say. Anyway, thank you guys. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.